Hi, this is Amanda and I'm here to talk books with you. I'm going to get straight into this video because it's going to be a long one. This is the 2019 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, the prompts and my TBR for those prompts. So to start off, the first challenge is a book becoming a movie in 2019, and with that I went with The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This is also one of my book club books for this year in June, so I thought why not kill two birds with one stone. Moving on, we have a book that makes you nostalgic, and that I went with The Book of Awesome. Basically a bunch of short stories about things that people like, so I thought that would fit perfectly. I am sorry, I'm not going to go too much detail of these books just because this video will be forever, so it'll be a little bit quick, but if you want to check out my Goodreads, I'll link that below. I have rated all of these books and you can see what they're about also. So moving on, we have a book written by a musician, and that I went with My Love Story by Tina Turner, and that's basically a memoir about her life, and that'll be picking up from my library. I'm on hold for that one. Going forward, we have a book that you think should be turned into a movie, and I went with The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. I've heard amazing things about this one. World War II, that's kind of my thing, so can't go wrong, I don't think, with that. Next is a book with at least 1 million ratings on Goodreads. For that one, I went with The Giver by Lois Lowry. I actually completed that prompt already and thought it was wonderful. You can check my Goodreads for the rating on that. Next prompt is a book with a plant in the title or on the cover, and for that one I went with The Perfect Mother by Amy Malloy. It's about a mom's group and a missing baby, so interested to check that one out. The next book prompt is a reread of a favorite book, and for that I chose Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This is a book of poetry. This is her first one. She is Canadian and she is fabulous. I love her writing, so that I have actually already finished rereading. Since it is poetry, even if you savor it, it's pretty quick, so you can check out my ratings. I think I actually rated it last year, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Next is a book about a hobby. I belong to a book club in my neighborhood, so I am going to be reading the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, written in the form of letters, multiple persons writing back and forth during and after the war, and World War II, sorry, I should specify. And I actually did watch the movie. I have read this already, but I do plan to read this as an audiobook because it is performed by multiple people, so well, like, it'll be kind of a movie for your ears, hey? Back in the day. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm no more mom jokes. Going forward, we have a book you meant to read in 2018, something I was actually excited to pick up and I never did. Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. From what I remember of what it's about, we're looking at another domestic thriller, which is my jam, so interested to get into that. And I do enjoy that I feel a little more pressure as opposed to putting it aside again for another year. So next prompt is actually a book with Pop, Sugar, or Challenge in the title, which was a huge challenge. But I did decide on Mary Poppins, and I actually never read that as a child that I can remember. So I'm pretty excited to get into it. And that I am getting from my library, so no book to hold for you. Next prompt is a book with an item of clothing or accessory on the cover. And for that one, I did complete it already the first week of January. And I read Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. That actually has a crown on the cover, so I'm counting that as an accessory for the princess I am. I'm kidding. I'm not a princess. Okay, I digress. It's a companion short story book for the Lunar Chronicles. Loved it. I binged the Lunar Chronicles. Read this right after. Perfect timing. Gave closure, depth. I think I have actually a review for that on my Goodreads, so check it out if you want. Going forward, we have a book inspired by mythology, legend, or folklore. This could be a stretch, but I'm going with Beastly by Alex Flynn. Never saw the movie, but I do love Beauty and the Beast, and this is based on that story, so I'm interested to see how this makes them into teenagers. I mean, Beauty and the Beast with some angst. Can't go wrong, right? Next, we have a book published posthumously. I do not say that right. I am sorry. Please do not correct me, or you can. I'm not your mom, but forgive me. We are reading Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, published after her death, and I actually heard it's quite good and not as dry as some of her other books, so I'm interested to see how that is. Haven't picked that up yet, but it's in my library, so I'll be reading that as soon as I don't have 30 things on hold and 12 things in my borrowed items. I have a problem. Don't judge me. A book you see someone reading on TV or in a movie. I don't know where I saw this mentioned, but I do remember I saw it mentioned. So we're going with Angela's Ashes, and that's by Frank McCourt, a memoir of his upbringing. Born in the US, but moved back to Ireland. His family's from Ireland. And the trials and tribulations of these poor children, his siblings, and his alcoholic father, and his mother, and just the poverty they go through. I mean, it's a real eye-opener, and if you've seen the movie, definitely check this out. I actually listened to the audiobook, recommend it, because he reads it himself, so, okay. I'm going to try to keep these short. Back to being short, guys. So, retelling of a classic. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Ratings, not so good on Goodreads, but I like zombies. And, I mean, Jane Austen, hello. So, that's for that one. The next prompt is a book with a question in the title. I have completed this one already, a library borrowed book, and that is Who Killed Tom Thompson, about the mysterious death and circumstances after the death, of what happened to the body, of a Canadian artist back in the 1917, I think it was 1917, 18-ish, something around there. So check that out if you're interested in the art world, Canadian, Ontario, Algonquin Park. I mean, can't go wrong with any of those things. It was actually a pretty interesting read, and I did like how they he brought in detectives at the end and gave them all the evidence. I mean, that was really the coolest part of the book. I'm not gonna lie. All right, moving on. A book set on a college or university campus. Secret History by Donna Tartt. Another Donna Tartt on this list. I'm really excited about this. I think I may hate the main characters, but can't go wrong with a university book and also mystery. That's my jam. So, I may save that for September, I think. Do it around school time. It sounds like a good idea to me. Going forward, this is based on other recommendations on Goodreads, so I don't know if it actually fits the prompt or not. I hope so. I tend to go into my books blind, so the less I know, the more I enjoy a book. So this is big on BookTube, The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I'm interested to see. I only picked up the first one because I might not like it, but I mean, I'm always looking for new series to fly through, so hopefully we'll see. Next, a book told from multiple character point of views. Again, I don't know if it is or not. I hope that I'm going to trust my fellow Goodreads readers. But All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I've heard amazing things about it, but I try not to listen to what it's about because blind again. But that was another book I meant to read last year also. I never got to, so this is a really good challenge for me to read some things that are sitting on my shelf because I'm collecting a lot. All right, so our next prompt is a book set in space, and that I picked Martha Wells' All Systems Red. It is about a murderbot and her love of TV and antisocial. I mean, I relate to her a lot. Loved the first book. I'm planning to finish it. I'm just waiting for the library for those books. So I hope you cannot hear my child screaming in the background. I am sorry if you do. Moving on, we have a book by two female authors. That is The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen for my choice. I've heard great things about it. Domestic thriller. Meh. Two women writing it. Okay, perfect. Done. I don't exactly know what it's about. My husband's yelling, I'm sorry. Only because, again, I like to go in blind. So, alright, moving forward, we have a book set in Scandinavia. This was a pretty easy choice for me. Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. Loved Beartown. I love hockey. Grew up in a hockey family. So, I'm excited to get to this one. Another one I kind of pushed aside. Sorry, I know. But I really am excited to get to it this year. I waited forever for that book to come out, and I mean, you can't go wrong with hockey unless you don't like hockey, but I love hockey. So we have for the next prompt a book that takes place in a single day, and I went with The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, or Evelyn Hardcastle, or 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, depending on your country of origin. That's by Stuart Turton. Murder mystery with a little twist at the end. I actually really liked the twist. I thought it was kind of cool. So check it out if that's your thing. A debut novel. I chose The Dark Beneath the Ice by Amalinda Berube. She's French, and I'm Canadian, and I should know how to say it, but I don't. It's a young adult. There's mysterious things going on with this girl and around this girl, and you have to figure out what's going on. Also, if you're looking for a diverse book that does have that is LGBTQ plus friendly. I'm gonna say friendly. There are two females who identify as lesbians, so something you might want to check out. It was all right. I think I wrote a review for it on my Goodreads, so you can check that out. Next, a book that's published in 2019. That one I plan to read, which this one is the one I think that could change because there's so many good books coming out. But my plan so far is to read The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. I don't know too much about it, but I think it's a fantasy, young adult. I don't read a lot of young adult fantasy. Trying it more. I do want to read a little bit of everything this year, so I'm hoping this will kind of satisfy that, along with I think The Red Queen is a fantasy also. So that I'm waiting for my library for. The next book is a book with a title that contains salty, sweet, bitter, or spicy. And this is another one. I have a couple options, but my plan is to read Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. And World War II, multiple points of view. So if you're looking for a multiple POV for the other prompt, that would work too. And I've heard amazing things, so I'm interested to read that. For going forward, we have a book featuring an extinct or imaginary creature, and one of my favorite movies as a child, Jurassic Park. So I am going to read this book for that one. Extinct creature, obviously, dinosaurs. And I've heard good things about it. I heard it's better than the movie, so I'm excited to get into that. And next we have a book recommended by a celebrity you admire. I think Emma Watson recommended this, if I remember. If not, I'm going to pretend that's what happened. The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo by Amy Schumer. I think she's hilarious. I think she looks like a real person, which is nice. You know what I mean. So I'm interested to read that one. That I picked up, like, I think in 2017. So I'm getting to it. A book with love in the title. We have The Hypnotist Love Story by Leanne Moriarty. I read Big Little Lies. Loved it. Hoping this has a little bit of that magic. So I'm going to read that for that prompt. I'm looking for a book now featuring an amateur detective. I don't like hot books. I'm sorry. But I'm taking amateur detective as just someone who's going to be investigating something. So that I went with The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney. She investigates, I think, the disappearance of the woman who lived in the apartment before her. So that we will see. Hoping that fits the prompt. If not, I mean, I'll just read another one, I guess. Next, we have a book about a family. And I went with The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. Lots of wonderful things said about this one, but also apparently very, very sad. So hopefully not too sad, but we'll be reading that for that prompt. Next, we have a book that includes a wedding. I am basing this off recommendations from Goodreads. So if it doesn't have a wedding, I am sorry. I'll find something else. Crazy Rich Asians. I haven't seen the movie, so I may be the only one in the world that hasn't. I haven't seen the movie. I bought the trilogy though, because I'm crazy, and lots of people have recommended it, so on Goodreads and on BookTube and whatnot, so I'm interested to get into that. Next, we have a book written by an author from Asia, Africa, or South America. I did finish this prompt already. I read Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Wonderful book about a woman from Nigeria, immigrates to the US to go to school, then she decides to move back to Nigeria, and all the things that go along with that, and leaving her boyfriend behind in Nigeria. So highly recommend it. Wonderful, diverse book. Next, we have a book with a zodiac sign or astrological term in the title. I went with The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner. Actually got on sale on my Kobo, so that I'm going to be reading hopefully soon, because I think it looks interesting. I believe it's about prison, women in prison. Orange is the New Black, maybe a little bit better. So that is going to be for that prompt. Next, we have a book by an author whose first and last names start with the same letter. Harder than you would think, although Kevin Kwan would follow that prompt if you're looking for something. I went with something that's been on my shelf for years. Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fannie Flagg. Ugh, I love this movie. I've seen it a million times. I mean, that's exaggerating, obviously, but it's so good. And so I'm hoping this book lives up to that hype, because it's been sitting there for a long time waiting for me to read it. Next, we have a ghost story. I went with something non-traditional in regards to the ghost story, and I went with Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. A boy avenging his brother's death meets a bunch of ghosts trying to convince him not to. But the kicker is it's written in verse. So it's a quick read. It's powerful. Oh, I loved it. I recommend it for sure. I think you can plow through it, no problem. And yeah, it's touched me a little bit. So that one is a completed prompt. Next, we have a book with two-word title, and that I went with After You by Jojo Moyes. I read Me Before You last year, so continuing with the series, see what Louise is up to in this next book here. Next, we have a novel based on a true story, and that I went with Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. follows a woman who is convicted of murder waiting for execution, and I believe this is based on a similar situation that happened in Ireland. Don't quote me because, again, blind, right? But it looks interesting. I think I've had that for a while too, so I'm excited to get into it. Two more. Second last prompt is a book revolving around a puzzle or game. In that, I picked Ready Player One. Ernest Cline. I watched the movie, heard this is way better, so obviously I'm going to throw that on my list. And finally, we have your favorite prompt from a past Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. This is my first year doing the challenge, so I picked one from last year, and that is a book made into a movie you've already seen. And it's my current read also. That is Jaws by Peter Benchley. If you've watched the movie, read the book. It's so much better. The characters are three-dimensional compared to, I think, the 2D in the movie. I'm about a little more than a third of the way. So that is it for the 40 prompts for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. Just to tally up, I have already completed 10. So go me. And I'm hoping to update you guys every 10 challenges. I think that's probably doable. If I do finish this challenge early enough, then I might try to attempt to do the extra 10 in the advanced Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, but we'll see. I'm not that ambitious, I don't think. I'm a mood reader, so for me to have an actual TBR is something that I'm not used to. I generally just pick what I have on my shelf. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit long. I'm not going to be editing it because I'm not so good with that yet, but hopefully if you're doing this challenge, you get maybe some ideas for TBR you didn't think of previously or you were kind of stuck on. And if you want to subscribe below, I'm hopefully going to be putting some more videos out there now that the plague has left my house. And I apologize again if you heard my family screaming in the background, because that's my life. I have 2 little kids at home. That's, I guess, everything. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.